Like I come from a background, I happen to be a chemist, but the three things that I studied in college were chemistry, education, and theater. So I've taken playwriting, I've taken screenwriting, I did performance art, I've been in a bunch of plays. Um, that there's a part of me that's a theater geek, and you have to kind of go back 20 years to find it, um, but I really liked a lot of that stuff, and so I care a lot about storytelling. And Road to Nowhere just put together one of the most compelling stories that I've read on this platform the entire time I've been here.
That's so crazy. And I mean, I knew you were a diverse kind of a guy, but it sounds like you're into chemistry, into coding, into writing, into being a witness. I don't know. It never ends. Okay.
It never ends. I mean, there's a reason why my bed is like 5 feet from my computer.
Yeah, I bet you don't get any sleep. Oh, thanks, Crystal Pacheco and Clove71. You guys both just voted. We love you. Oh, by the way, you guys, I don't know if you've noticed this flaming red, like moving hair. So I put this, Cora Skate and I were like seriously peeing our pants yesterday. So I put this image together. And I was like, hey, is it C Love? I feel like it's C Love, right? Or is it Clove? I don't know. You can tell us. But so C Love has these images that she does where she kind of animates them through this program. And I was like, how do you do that? And I can figure it out. She's like, I'll do it for you. And she like grabs it, fixes it up, sends it back in like 10 minutes later. Here I had this flaming red fiery hair. So we can all thank her. It's super awesome. All right. So, Korske, did you have any other comments before we jump? We're going to jump right into the story reading, Agrod, if you don't mind. And then afterwards, depending on how much time we have, we will just kind of chat it up. How's that sound?
It's fine by me. Let me go. Here's the story.
Okay, and for those of you, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link of the story into DLive and into Discord, because we have a couple of different audiences here, and I'll drop the link to the story so you can read along if you want. I prefer to just listen, but some people really like to read. So let me go grab it, and then I'm going to take the video off of me so you're not staring at my face. And then Agrod, whenever you feel ready, you just jump right in, okay?
Yeah, so here's the link. So you guys can, there that is.
Cool, thanks.
And now, all right, so I got Twisted. I'm good to go.
You are good to go.
By the time you hear my cackling laugh, it's too late for you. I will already have your right soul. I am known as a Twisted Jester, and what makes me laugh the most is to see you dead, sir. I would like to tell you my tale of fate when I became this monster. I remember the exact date. Once I had loved ones, a beautiful family, and worked as a jester in my village of Dunsworth. The village was along the King's Highway, so there was always a steady stream of travelers willing to pay me in silver to perform my knife-throwing act. I had made the show into a grand spectacle. The mixing of comedy with the danger of my blades would have the crowd eating out of the palm of my hand. Much of the humor of my show revolved around poking fun at the drunken antics of Lord Rothschild from Eastbridge. It was common knowledge throughout the realm that the Lord would imbibe on a daily basis to the point of inebriation. Many tales have been told of how he acted the fool because he could not hold his drink. In the middle of my act, I would dress as a royal and come staggering out from behind the curtain, announcing myself as a merry Lord Rothschild. I would drink from the ale pitchers that were filled with gooseberry tea, giving the appearance of being a sloppy lush, and then juggle my knives in an erratic manner. The audience would howl with laughter as my blades fell to the ground, with one sticking into the top of my boot. My family helped me with the act. My daughters and my wife were put into peril nightly as my knives came within inches of their flesh. News of my show spread throughout the land, and one dreadful day Lord Rothschild made his way to my village in the company of the royal guard. The Lord had sent a messenger requesting a private show in the main hall promptly at twilight. My family and I were very apprehensive about performing that evening. Surely he would understand that I meant no harm to his character by using his image in my comedy act, and reward us handsomely to be entertained by our death-defying feats. When we arrived at the main hall, the room was lively with the sounds of music and the loud ruckus of laughter. The royal guard was drinking ale in excess, and as we made our way through the crowd, the soldiers saw the beauty of my wife and began to harass her relentlessly. I should have known better. I should have known better and got my family out of there. We got to the front of the hall, and there was a large area opened up for us to perform our act in front of Lord Rothschild's table. A hush came over the crowd as the Lord greeted us with his black-toothed grin. I had expected to see a man of wealth and grandeur, but instead I saw a horrid-looking man who was obviously intoxicated. He began to speak in a deep, gargled voice. I have heard tales of your knife-throwing skills to be spectacular. I would like to see for myself just how good you are. Laughter arose from the crowd. Tonight, you will perform your act blindfolded for my entertainment. I considered pleading for mercy, but I could tell it would fall on deaf ears. Instead, I boldly stated, "As you wish, sire. I have done my show so many times. I had confidence that I could do it blindfolded." The first part of my act was to stand 30 paces away from my oldest daughter. She would balance an apple on her head and hold one in each hand. I would rapid fire 3 knives and slice through the apples in the blink of an eye. Lord Rothschild threw down a rancid-smelling, stained red scarf that I tightly tied around my head, placing me in total darkness. I carefully paced off a straight line for my terrified daughter, took a deep breath, and let my blades fly. I could tell from the cheers of the soldiers that my knives hit their mark. I removed the scarf and looked at the tearful face of my daughter, then to the ground to see 3 sliced apples at her feet. I knew tonight's show would not be comedic in nature, and I did not interject the humor that made my act so entertaining to the normal travelers. Next was a wheel of death. My wife would be tied to the spinning wheel as I threw daggers to outline her body from 50 paces away. This would be the most challenging stunt of the night. This feat would be impossible if not for the click of the wheel that I heard so many times in the past. Every time the wheel did a complete revolution, it would make a small click sound. I knew that if I could tune into that sound, I could judge the pace of the wheel, giving me a small chance to let my wife come out of this hole. My wife bravely allowed me to strap her to the wheel. Her words to me were, "I believe in you. I trust that your hands will be steady and your mind be clear." I set the wheel spinning and walked back 50 paces, took one last look at my lovely wife, who was staring to the side with no emotion on her face. I again tied the putrid-smelling scarf over my eyes. Concentrate. Listen for the clicks. I tuned out the chatter and background noise so I could faintly hear the click. Swoosh. I let 4 of my daggers fly. I could hear a small whimper from my wife in between the last 2 clicks. Click, 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 click. And again, I threw my last 4 daggers with force. This time I heard a painful yelp come from my wife. I ripped off my blindfold to see her spinning on the wheel with one dagger in her shoulder and another in her thigh. She was bleeding badly from her wounds, but alive. I quickly ran to stop the wheel and untie her to the rowdy cheers of the soldiers. I was ready to close out my show. Both of my daughters would stand with their backs together, holding a candle between their teeth. I would throw an axe from each hand and extinguish the flames in unison. My daughters reluctantly stood back to back with the candles in place as I walked back 20 paces. Again, I pulled the red scarf over my eyes, slowed my breathing, and visualized where my precious daughters were standing. Whoosh! I let my axes fly. The crowd erupted with cheers and laughter as I dropped the blindfold to the floor. My daughters were halfway back to me with their arms outreached and ready for a joyful embrace. I had done the impossible, my death-defying performance in total darkness. I turned to Lord Rothschild, expecting to see the delight on his face, but instead he glared down at me with anger in his eyes. He slowly clapped his hands 3 times and stated, "Very impressive, Jester. I'm not sure if you are aware, but I too am skilled with a blade. In lieu of paying you in gold for your entertainment, I will instead pay you by allowing you to witness my fine skills as barter." He instructed his soldiers to set up my daughters back to back with the candles in their mouths. Lord Rothschild staggered eerily from his seat and exposed 2 large knives that he had picked up from the table. By the time I looked from him back to my daughters, their lifeless bodies were already on the floor in a pool of their own blood. I burst into anger and tried to get to my table of steel, but the guards seized me before I could lay my hand on a blade. "Execute the Jester," Lord Rothschild yelled to his henchmen. As I was being dragged from the room, I made eye contact with my terrified wife one last time as she was being pulled into the crowd of soldiers. The guards ushered me to the center of the village and hung me from the Micmac tree, where I stayed for 13 days and nights. On the night of the first moon, when the sky was in total darkness, I opened my eyes once again. I know not why I was chosen to cheat death, but I will take full advantage of my situation by tracking down Lord Rothschild and killing as many soldiers as possible along the way. I am forever searching this land in the hopes that my sweet wife is still of the living and that once again we will be reunited. I am of the element death. I walk with one foot in this world and one foot in the grave, in a twisted state of limbo. Destruction and insanity follow me wherever I may roam. I am extremely accurate with my throwing knives, and with a touch of my palm on your forehead, I have the power to transfer my pain of that dreadful day straight to your mind, driving you completely insane. If you happen across the Twisted Jester, vultures will be feasting on your dead flesh as you rot and fester.
This is so crazy, guys. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I have chills from listening to you read that.
I have like multiple chills. Like you can see them. Look, I'm gonna like get really close to the camera. I don't know if you can tell.
So dark. It's so bad. That's just awesome.
I love how at the end he's like, I put my forehead on your head and instill all of the pain that tormented me and drive you to madness. I mean, who writes this stuff? Of course, we do know who wrote it, and I need to look up the author because it like
Road to Nowhere.
Road to Nowhere. I was hoping he would be here today, but that's okay. We'll make sure and get him on the show to talk about the motivation for this story. And frankly, I think the best writers are those who can capture the human flaw in all of us and make it the most believable, because the Twisted Jester is a crazy lunatic like serial killer. But don't you sort of feel a little bit like you almost can relate to him on some level?
He was just a jester, right? Like he was just doing his throwing act knives, and then Lord Rothschild went and killed his whole family.
Right?
If my family because of a play, I'd probably go kind of insane.
I think we all would. I think there's those things that would just put us over the edge. And it's kind of like an homage to all of those who write like this. Like I think it's just, I can see what would be your favorite piece.
It's just so good. So I gave him one suggestion, and that was it. And otherwise, the rest of the story was, I guess I gave two. So he used the name Rothschild, which is an actual like family and dynasty and
like a noble name.
Yeah, they're allegedly the people that sort of run this world. And so I didn't want to use their name exactly, but I also wanted to mock it. So I liked Rothschild instead of Rothschild.
I did too. I actually thought it was Rothschild, and then I went back and read it again. And I'm like, oh, it's Rothschild, which is kind of poetic justice.
The only thing that I thought his story was missing was he didn't have foreshadowing at the very beginning. So the one thing I asked him to do was make it so that when the Twisted Jester was performing, he made fun of Lord Rothschild. Because the story didn't make quite as much sense that he just sort of showed up and killed his family. But the fact that the Jester was like using his image and mocking him to go make a living then sort of instigated the violence that happened. So in some ways, the Jester's responsible for like the violence that happened, although of course that would be victim blaming. Lord Rothschild should know not to kill people.
That was a huge addition to the story because, yeah, the moment that he came to get a private showing, I was like, oh, well, this is not good.
This is where things go downhill.
This is not boding very well. So we have a few new guests who showed up mid-story. I noticed Ingenuity showed up, and we love the link that you dropped because it was right after the Twisted Jester talked about how Lord Rothschild walked up to him, clapped slowly 3 times.
Yeah, the slow clap, yeah, and
The
then Joker. Yeah, I thought it was fitting too.
Very fitting, not just the slow clap, but the Joker slow clap, right? Very fitting. And Ingenuity, if you guys hang on for a few minutes, we're going to have Ingenuity do a little sample from the story that we'll be reading either next week or the following week. And that will be one of the Flesh Golem stories. So Ingenuity, if you'll get that ready and have it on standby, then maybe we can read like the first paragraph, because I think people need to hear your voice when you read.
Can do, huh?
Sounds good.
So, Little Scribe, we talked about doing some booster pack giveaways, and we haven't given away any yet. So
Hold on. Can I say
No,
something about
listen.
that? Can I talk about the Flesh Golem for just a second?
Yeah, let's talk about the Flesh Golem, and then we'll give away a couple of booster packs. Sound good?
So I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you wanted to do the giveaway, but like in traditional stories from like the D&D world, like Flesh Golems are always sort of like there's a magician that goes and like sculpts something and then gives it life. Like a Flesh Golem is usually like a Frankenstein kind of creature. And one of the things that I really liked about the story that ultimately won, I don't know if you're picking the winner or one of the other ones, but the
winner,
the one that won, is a different take on where the Flesh Golem came from. And again, it has sort of that dark twistedness to it that, you know, maybe not every story needs that, but my favorites are going to be the ones that get pretty dark. Like, I really like this because the story doesn't follow sort of traditional Dungeons and Dragons canon of like making a Frankenstein monster that is a separate entity. The creature turns himself and self-mutilates into a Flesh Golem.
He's sort of a mixture of Frankenstein versus sort of born out of this like no man's land. And by the way, Dave McCoy just says, for those of you who aren't aware, Dave McCoy is like the trader extraordinaire. I don't know what you would call it, like a broker almost of the cards. And so he's done these spreadsheets where he kind of knows the going rates. And he says that the Flesh Golem is highly sought after in the monster market. I kind of wonder why. Is it just a cool card, or do we feel like it has some intrinsic gaming value?
Well, right now, one of the guys has nearly completed the Maverick status. So Feel the Burn is when you have completed getting one card out of all of your base level cards have been completed. So not the gold ones, but literally having a complete deck. But the first person to go like get literally every single card and max them all out, minus the gold ones, was Thomas Gutierrez. So I asked him what he would want that to be called, and he said, "I want it to be the Mavericks." So.
Oh, cool. And isn't that the one you guys? I feel like you posted that a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Don't try this at home." Was that the one?
Yeah. It cost him. I don't know. He has spent thousands of dollars on this game.
I love it.
Because we're going to go build cool stuff with it. But I mean, he spent a lot of money. It's pretty awesome for us and for this whole community.
So I want to talk about that some more. But Chorus Gate, let's get back to doling out some gifty gifts. And did you have anyone in mind?
You know, I personally want to give at least one to Sea Love for helping us make our awesome flaming artwork for this show. So I would definitely say we give a booster pack to her.
Okay, I second that notion, and then I want to give a booster pack to Triskel Ware, because I don't know if you're male or female, but she was the first on the show, on the set, waiting backstage on Discord, asking if they were in the right place, and has just kind of hung around and been here all day because I guess Steam Monsters is worth it. That's what I feel. I don't think it's because of me. But anyway, so Triskel, male. He is a male. And then he said his name had something to do with something. Let me see if I can find it here. What is your name from? I don't know. It was like some Linux thing, and I was like, I don't even understand. I'm just here for the food. But yeah, so we're gonna give a booster pack to Triskelware and to Clove or Sea Love 71. I think that's a great couple of people we could give to. So we'll do that after the show. And if you aren't set up for monsters yet, then let us know and we can make sure and help you get that arranged.
Can I take a quick moment, too, to just say that, Agro, your reading of that was so believable. And, I mean, getting into that, it's one thing to write that kind of darker, getting into that mental space, but to emulate that with your voice is really hard to do. So, anyway, kudos to you. I was so wrapped into that story when you were reading it.
You just got to be insane for a couple of years. And then it's all easy after that.
Yeah, see, then you can relate too, Coruscate.
I'll work on it.
Small price to pay.
No big deal. No bigs. I actually agree. I felt like you kind of read on a deeper level. Like we're talking method acting here, guys. We just loved this interpretation of the character, and I think it could probably go a few different ways, but your rendition was really enjoyable, and I could actually like visualize his craziness and yet his sanity at the same time, and this whole like foot in one world and in the other, like the death and the life, and his ability to impose insanity on others. It just makes me want to get to know this guy more. In fact, I kind of feel like there should be a sequel.
Yeah, so one of the ways that this game is going to work is that the whole thing is to not reveal everything about the characters on day one. So, like, if you have a level 1 Twisted Jester, you might get some of the background. Maybe you'll start by hearing or, like, being able to see, like, what town he came from and maybe just some like very basic stats or something. But then as you level these cards, I want them to reveal more and more. And eventually I would hope to have it, like I'm hiring an animator. The company is called Austin Visuals, and it costed me a couple $1,000s to go put together like a 60 to 90 second like little cartoon about this. But like what I'd really like to be able to do is build lots and lots of these kind of like cutscenes for all the legendaries and for all the different cards, so that when you finally max level them, you know, like the auditions you guys are reading, like some of that is just to like tell some backstory. But you know, I'd like to see that. I'd like the characters to be able to have a written story, a couple voice quips, like a nice long written first person story. And at least for the legendaries, I'd hope to go get some like full animated cutscenes when you max level them that you wouldn't get when you first start playing.
That would be actually super cool, because Reseller says, whoops, all my cards are almost maxed out. Rest in peace. Because I guess when you're done, let the trading and the gaming begin, right? So
yeah, he's got, his cards are almost all maxed out. It's amazing.
Addicted.
Yeah. I mean, the game is just a ton of, like, people like collecting this already, and the game doesn't even play yet. I mean, I can't wait to see what we can create when we can accept US dollars, when tournaments start, when we have a functioning market. I mean, when all this stuff is in place, I really think that we're going to have the ability to make a huge impact on the blockchain. I mean, I know that we sort of went viral, but like, you know, going viral within our community is cool. Going viral outside of our community and bringing people here, that's the mission.
Well, and that's one of the things that I was so stoked about last week, because you had two major ass developments with this issue here, which number one is you've made the cards available to purchase via 3 major coins, not just Steam and SBD, but Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And then like 2 days later, you came in and you made it so that whoever signed up from the external, that was not on Steam, whoever came in to sign up for a Steam Monsters pack or like a starter pack could then have the option of signing up for the Steam blockchain simultaneously, which right now is a huge big deal because it takes quite a bit of time to wait for that.
Yep. So when right now, again, that we're still stuck in sort of people already inside crypto. And people inside crypto is not a tiny market, but it's not, I mean, it's certainly not the same as the Magic the Gathering crowd, and certainly not the same as the other like Hearthstones, Pokemon. And that's because, like, you know, with those, you can walk into any kind of comic shop and just buy them. With us, you actually have to be on the Steam blockchain. So we have some challenges of, like, we are now highly incentivized to go onboard way more users, so that we can try to get like new customers out of this. So that's where we're going. Gotta get more people.
I'm seeing your content director, Isaria, just showed up. Nice of you to stop by. And
hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey,
Well, I don't know if you know this, but she is a lovely person.
Yeah, you're all lovely people.
She really is.
Have you heard her music, her version of the Splinterlands that is going to be the sort of theme song of this game?
No. Hey, Isaria, can you drop a link for us so we can check it out?
Sure, I just posted it. Hold on.
And also, I just noticed Carrie Allen hopping in on the D Live. Really, what is a show without Carrie Allen? I'm just saying, guys. I missed her show the other day and about died because apparently she did these puppets. And I was like, you what? You did puppets without me? Don't ever do this again. So Carrie Allen, we're happy to have you. And then back to what Agrod was saying. So you wanted to make this available to a bigger market. Obviously, we're nothing near D&D or Magic the Gathering yet. But what they don't have that your game does have is kind of an access to non-gaming people like me and Chorusgate, right? Chorusgate?
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, just for me, I wouldn't usually like go out and seek out a game to play, but just being surrounded by it everywhere, I was like, okay, what is this all about? And then once you get in it, you're like, whoa, this is really addicting. And we haven't even started playing yet.
Yeah, I
What?
went through the same thing because I don't play games either, but I'm having fun with it, so that's cool.
I can't wait till there's like a financial incentive. So if I go to a comic shop and I go on like a Tuesday night and that's their Magic the Gathering night, there could be a group of 20, mostly gentlemen, that would be sitting around playing these games, and the winner walks away with like a big mouse pad. And to me, when we play these games and we do them online and we make the tournaments like 1,000 SBD for the winnings, like Matt and I just get really excited about how that could be such a major draw. You know, like League of Legends has like a $25 million tournament, and that brings people to League of Legends. You have like a professional sports team, you have people that stream it. Like, just the prize pool alone is enough to go pull people to learn about the game. When people realize that our prize pool can be like literally like 100 times bigger than what you would get through Magic or what you would get through Hearthstone, and Hearthstone doesn't have anything that I'm aware of. I think that again is going to present some pretty wonderful opportunities for us to help expand the blockchain.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I know that, a lot of people obviously are drawn to that for the opportunity to earn more, or they would have that. And it's funny because I feel like in a lot of tournaments, you might think, oh, it's this huge thing. You have to be playing for years and get to that level. But it seems like with Steam Monsters, especially since it's just starting, you'll have opportunities to win and to play and to earn very regularly. It's not just some huge, big annual tournament. So I guess my question is, I mean, how do the earnings on Steam Monsters work? I know you've talked about 10 tournaments a day, but how do people actually earn playing Steam Monsters?
Well, first off, you're actually a phenomenal example of how people can earn, like, just fiddling around with Steam Monsters even before it starts. I mean, you did a live stream, gave you some packs, and you went and did that, and you caught your Hall Files vote for $120. So, I felt like, hey, this is cool that, like, we're pulling people in from your audience and you're explaining this as like a non-gamer to other non-gamers about why it's cool. And then you also got seriously rewarded for it. And I've seen that happen a couple times where people have gotten big votes for just talking about the game, or they streamed and sort of interacted with other players and either earned some money or earned the cards or gave away the cards. Like, it's a thing that you can do, and it's kind of cool to go hand out booster packs and things like that. Like, it's a nice way to make introductions and make friends.
That being said, Agrod, we have some comments in the comment section saying she already has whale love, and yes, that is true. Choruscape does have a little bit of she's a little further along in the Steam process with her networking and her showing out up and everything. But the thing is that there are so many ways to earn on the cards. And I think as far as the gaming itself, yeah, I don't understand how that works yet, but this does show that there is viability in the card itself. It is, to me, almost like a token in itself. It
is. I mean, make no mistake, that is a token. We like Yaba likes to call them non-fungible tokens or NIF. I like to call them dumb media tokens.
Yeah, dumb media tokens, because they don't have a smart contract, but they do have a viable blockchain transferability, right?
Yep, everything lives on the block. And we recently made it so that you don't have to use Steam monsters to transfer cards around. So we're like, we got to be careful about how we release these and make sure that everything works when we do it. But what we want is for this game to live on the blockchain and for people to have a decentralized version of this. And so, you know, if people want to run their own tournaments with the cards, they can. If they want to make their own market, they can. They don't. We're purposely making it so you don't need us.
Well, and like Dave McCoy and Reseller, I think these guys are in it for the trading. There are plenty of people who will not ever be playing the game as much as they're just going to be trading the cards, working as brokers, collecting just to earn the value of the token itself, which is the card. And each card, kind of like in monetary system that we have, has different value, like a dime, a nickel, a quarter. And depending on the value of the card within the game, or even just in the collector's editions, they will each have different value. And the cool thing about it being based on a Steam blockchain and on a cryptocurrency is that supposedly it will grow and appreciate over time. And I think that it takes a lot of, in my opinion, trust and faith in a system to base a game on a cryptocurrency like this, where you're kind of banking on the fact that it will appreciate, and it sort of goes hand in hand in my mind.
I have no fears about that. Like, Steam is going to grow, the blockchain ecosystem is going to grow. Like, in 10 to 15 years, any business that has a database is going to be replaced by a blockchain of one sort or another. There's just no way that centralized databases are the way that we store and keep information. So with that as the backdrop of my thinking, like, you know, Steam's going to go up, Steam's going to go down. Like, I'm not guaranteeing that tomorrow the price will be higher than today. But if I put on like a 5-year timeline, like, we have a meteoric growth in front of us. And some of the things we can do to help increase the price of the cards over time and sort of reward those people that came in. It doesn't exist now, but we'll go put additions into the cards. So on, like, when the beta is released, we'll stop production of alpha cards. We'll put a beta, it'll still be the same card, but it'll have like a B written instead of an A written, so that everybody will know these were alpha cards, these are beta cards. And then there will literally be no more alpha cards ever printed. So, I think all the people that are like collecting cards now, in 5 years when this game blows up and there's nobody left to go, and there's no other way to get them than to trade for these, I think that's going to be a big deal for folks.
You just made me want to go buy like 200 packs, but it's okay. I'll restrain myself. Speaking of which, Chorus Gate, I think it's time.
Oh my goodness, and I'm with you, Little Scribe. I was just like, oh man, I gotta go get me some more packs.
I know. I think Carrie Allen has spent like all of her Steam earnings on these packs. In fact, like, they have, how many do you have, Carrie Allen? Do you have like 500? Is my mic really hot too? By the way, tell me if it is. Oh, and I'm super ADD right now, but I just want to say, we have several people on the D Live chat who I'm not seeing as active. So if you would like to be considered for a giveaway, just do a little shout out so I know you're here, because I don't want to give away to someone who's not here. I want to give away to someone who is participating. So I see Robin Eggs, Mercury Bot, and JP Galley, I think is called. If you guys are here, just do a little hello and then you can be considered. And okay, I think that, oh yeah, so Carrie, how do you want to tell us how many cards you and Chris have? Because I've been on your account and I feel like it's like 500 or something, right? Or are you going to keep it a secret? Do you want to tell us your dirty, dark secrets? She says, I'm trying to go on my account. Keep it going. We will. So Crystal Pacheco says, not the only one. Always need more packs. It's true. That's why we're here. Aggro, you've created monsters out of us. Are you happy with yourself?
Yeah. Well, and hopefully, if we do our job, then all of that will pay off. And again, I'm not guaranteeing that tomorrow your cards will be worth more, but, a year from now, 5 years from now, I think these things are going to have a lot of value.
Okay, so Reseller just said, I didn't realize this was on D Live. You'll be considered whether you're on Discord or D Live. No worries. But we're happy to see you on D Live as well. Okay, Chorus Gang.
Little Sky, can I just say something?
Yes.
I'm sorry, because I'm totally interrupting your show. If anyone wants to post directly onto Steam Monsters and talk about Steam Monsters and promote it, you can get 5 booster packs for doing that. And also, I just think that it's great that, if you can make as many Steam Monsters posts as possible just on your own account, and just use the Steam Monsters tag, and then, we can also re-steam it on Steam Monsters so you get more exposure.
That's actually been something that I can attest to. I have done some writing for Steam Monsters, and I got my 3 packs. And I have had some boost ups from you guys. And I don't have a ton of followers like whale people, so it kind of was cool. And so if you guys want to do that, that's one way to earn your cards and a little notoriety while you're at it. Okay, so Carrie says, oh, good Lord, a lot. Chris has more than I do. I'm actually still missing the Elemental Phoenix and the Gold Dragon. Not even a full deck yet. Okay, the fact that you can even, miss a Gold Dragon means you have other golds. I don't know.
Totally. I have 1 gold now, and I feel like I'm on top of the world. So, Carrie Allen, you're definitely showing us up here.
How did you get a gold? Just, from a booster pack, or what? Did you trade it?
No, from a booster pack, yeah.
Ooh, it is possible.
Yeah, it was very exciting. It happened on my live stream that I did, and I started freaking out, and so did everyone else. So I was really excited for the 5 people that were on my live stream with me that were freaking out with me.
And you had a bunch of newbies on there too, which I think was kind of cool, because they're like, oh, I'm going to go get a booster pack now.
Actually, it's been really fun. I think that quite a few people have told me that they have gotten into Steam Monsters since I made that Steam Monsters for Non-Gamers video, so that's been pretty fun to see.
Hey.
Shameless plug. Go get your booster packs, everyone.
Yeah, we're all about the plugs. Anything related to Steam Monsters, plug away, yo. That's what we're here for. That's why we have this show, because we just love it. So, Witty, do you need the Angel of Light or the Chromatic Dragon? I will trade for Lord of Darkness. I guess now we're a trading platform. Okay, Dave McCoy will take you.
Nice. Get that growth. See, this is why I love these shows, and this is why it's easy for me to go give out some packs to see stuff like this get created, so that, one, people are having fun, and I don't. Little Scrap, do you have any kids?
Yeah, I've got 3.
All right, so have you opened packs with your kids yet?
I do. I have a 4-year-old who opens my packs with me, and he, can't read them. It's really cute.
But did he get, have you gotten a legendary with your kiddo yet?
Yeah, he loves it. He's like, ooh, it's a light.
I mean, my 6-year-old was freaking screaming her head off.
Was she really? Oh.
So she got so lucky. We got 10 packs. And she got 3 legendaries in that time.
Wow.
And she's just screaming and arms up, woohoo, screaming, yeah.
I have a question for you, because I remember when the packs first came out, they didn't do that. And then I read, like, on one of your first posts, some guy, I don't remember his name, but he left in the comment section, hey, could you do that? Could you make it kind of do a special thing? And then like a week later you did. Is this like you and Yabbit Matt kind of taking input from the masses, or did you kind of have it already in the making?
I think it's this one. We take a ton of shit from the game and the people that play a lot and those that get a lot of cards. Like we crowdsource ideas left and right. It's a little bit harder to do that with product. What actually happened was that Matt or Yabba P Matt does all the back end development, but he's not much of a front end developer. So we're hiring a front end developer who then knew how to do this stuff just using HTML code, which Yabba didn't even know existed. So
Are you serious?
He did it in like maybe an afternoon or something and had all the animations done using mostly readily available code to do it.
And isn't Dave McCoy doing like a Minnow Newbie Palooza where they're giving away like $100 worth of packs? I see he's got a comment here. I don't know if you want... Dave McCoy, you're okay dropping that link if you want. I'm fine with that, because I think it's good for people to have an option to go and earn some packs. And Chorusgate, did you notice any new users when you did your DLive post? Asaria is wondering.
Yeah, actually, it's really fun. I've had a really big handful of people tell me, like, okay, I was kind of on the sidelines with Steam Monsters 2 because I'm not a gamer, but, after watching your video or watching the live stream, so I've done a couple of different videos kind of about Steam Monsters now. It's just been so fun. I kind of selfishly want everyone else to get on this train with me so I can nerd out with more people.
I know, it's the same thing. Here's the thing, is like, with Steam It, I kind of only have a couple of people that I can geek out with. My dad is one of them, and then Carrie Allen's another one. My husband, kind of. And then Steam Monsters comes along and brings it to like another level of craziness. And I'm like, I need people to talk to. So how about we just make a show?
I know, seriously. We can bring all the, Steam Monster nerds with us and we can all hang out.
So let's give away a couple more cards, and then I want to have Ingenuity do a little paragraph reading. And then if we have a little time, we can hang out and chat after.
That's perfect. Yeah, I'm looking at the clock. I can't believe it. We've been here for almost an hour already. That's so fun.
It's too much fun. It's time flying fast. Okay, let's see. So we've given away one pack, not card, but booster pack to C-Love71. We gave away a booster pack to Triskel Ware for just being out there for us. And okay, so I'll pick someone, and I'm gonna pick Dave McCoy, and you can give it away to your crowd or you can keep it, but I just want to give you one because you've been really awesome and supportive of everything that I've done. So Dave McCoy's my pick. Who's yours?
Oh, I love that. My pick is Carrie Allen. I feel like she has been just like so on it and engaged in our show and leaving awesome remarks and comments. So anyway, I know that you are obsessed with Steam Monsters, and so here's one more booster pack to add to your collection.
Yeah, it can't hurt, right? Maybe you'll get a Selenia Sky.
Oh my gosh, yes. Everyone will have to let us know if they got something really fun in their booster pack that they won from here. I would be super curious now.
And then I'm looking over my little chat here. Reseller. Okay, reseller, before you run, I'm going to just throw a pack in for you, and I think that wraps it up. That's 5 packs, right?
I think we've given away 5, but I don't know. I think we should give away 6.
Okay, let's round it out. 6.
Yeah.
Steam Monsters packs. Woo.
Hey, reseller.
We should give one to Ingenuity just for being here and reading for us.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, Ingenuity, do you have, yeah, Ingenuity. You know.
Oh yeah, I have all kinds of them.
Okay.
I'll be happy. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so do you have the page ready that you'd like to read from, or the paragraph that you're going to read from. Maybe tell us a little bit about the story, read a little bit.
I'm going to read the first two, because the first paragraph is actually just one sentence, and then the next one's only two sentences, and then they start getting more lengthy after that.
Okay. All right, so what's the title and about, and then jump right in.
The title is A Creation Myth for Steam Monsters, The Flesh Golem, written by Toriko.
All right.
It's funny how we can go through life in so much pain until it seems like a second skin that has grown into ourselves. We can try to shed the pain, yet to do so means scraping off that which has made us who we are. In time, we realize that no matter how much skin we slough off, more skin will arise interlaced with pain until it seems like a natural barrier.
Whoa.
Whoa, oh my gosh. Oh, goosebumps all over again. I mean, that is just, you took us to a whole nother place in character with even just that short reading.
Thank you. I try. I like getting into character. It's fun. It's one of the things that me and Carrie do on Fridays is her playhouse, and we get into characters, and it's always something I've really enjoyed to do. I never really had a chance to do until that show and the Steam Monsters put their voice editions out. I was like, heck yeah, that's like one thing I always wanted to do. I've got to try at least. Maybe somebody will like my voice out there. So,
yeah, that was really cool.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for the little tidbit. So we'll probably have it. I'm not sure how we're going to do next week, you guys, because I'm moving out of state and all my equipment is going to be like boxed up, and I'll be in like a hotel. So we might be able to swing a live, D-Live. We might just do Discord. We might just put it off for a week. We'll have to let you all know, but just so you know, we do really want to make it work. We'll figure it out.
Woo-woo.
I don't know.
I said woo-woo.
Oh, that was you. Okay, I was like. Okay, so we've got just a couple minutes left. Agrode, is there anything you wanted to add just before we wrap up the show?
I don't know. I guess I would just hope that everybody recognizes that this is a game. This is a game that you can partake in and have entertainment from and get rewards from, and hopefully it's an investment. But most importantly, what Yaba and I are really trying to build into this is that we see this as a way to onboard many new users, and we all go to the same mood. So it is in all of our interests to go see this thing be successful and see it spread far and wide so that more people come to Steam and more people play the game, and we help grow this ecosystem in this place that we love.
Great last final tidbits there. I do feel like the Steam Monsters game is making our platform economy just a little more robust and bringing in some external players and investors and bloggers and everybody who wants to be involved with Steam Monsters. And the cool thing is when they sign up for the Steam Monsters packet and then they decide to come onto the platform, to the actual blockchain, a lot of them may not even realize what they just got themselves into. They're just like, well, I'm just here for the game. And then they find out that there's so much more to it. So I think it's really awesome that they've done that.
And I kind of want to add too, I feel like one of the coolest things that I've seen happen with Steam Monsters, like blow up and pretty much like take over Steam in some ways, is I kind of feel like for a long time, it's like what you would see on the trending page is just some like, you know, like flagging wars or this and that, and that's what everyone was talking about. And now I just feel like everyone's talking about Steam Monsters, and it's just so much cooler to see this like really fun thing that we're all building together and we're collaborating together, just kind of taking the main stage as being something that we're all talking about.
That's a really good thing you brought that up. I actually wanted to ask Agrode a question. It's a little more personal, but I was just thinking, like, when you and Yaba, or I don't know what you want to call Yaba, when you and Yaba.
His name is Matt. I call him Yaba because that's what I see, but you can call him Matt or Yaba.
I'll call him Yaba. So when you guys sat down, were you like, hey, okay, which came first? Was it the, hey, we want to make a game? how do we do it? Or was it, hey, we'd love to do something for the community of Steam It. What should we do? We both kind of like fantasy and game lore. What, maybe we'll do that. Like, which one came first?
So not everybody knows, but Gaba and I are co-owners of the Steam Bot Tracker website. So many moons ago, I said, hey, I'm going down to Philly. And he said, hey, you should come visit me. So I went and I visited him. He came into Philly, which he doesn't live that far away. The two of us connected, had dinner, and like we were figuring out, like, we know that there's something to this BidBot thing. And I know some people have some really bad feelings about BidBots. My thoughts are like, if you weren't here before, like the latest hard fork, trending was literally the same 10 people over and over, maybe at best 15.
Yeah.
And BitBots are certainly a market force, and they definitely like mess with trending, but it is infinitely better that it is open and available to everybody rather than just the handful of connected people. And literally, like, the vote swapping was happening. People were buying votes, but it was all happening behind closed doors that nobody had access to.
And then it became a little more open.
But now it's people with money have access. And, like that, it's not as ideal as, like, the best content wins. But it is certainly better than where we were. But anyway, so that we were working on this BidBot thing because he had some programming, but he didn't really have a network, and he was just starting out, and, like, nobody knew about it or the site. And so we said, look, I'll go be sort of the business sales side of this thing and get it launched, and he can go be the technical end. And I made like one or two posts about it, and now we have like 100 different people that use it. We don't charge anything for it. Maybe we could. There are people that will actually run their BidBot for them, and there we charge a small percentage. But that's how we got started as partners doing this kind of stuff.
And you're talking about the Steambot Tracker, right?
Yep, Steambot Tracker. And then at one point he was like, what I really want to do is make a game. And like, I put out a game on Kickstarter. I raised $21,000 for sort of a naughty, funny card game. And then after I had done that, I started working on another one, but kind of paused. I didn't have a good way to go launch it, and I wasn't totally excited. But I had all these like art assets, and I had a theme for the game, and I know how we should sort of build it. So he was like, all right, it was his like childhood dream to do this, and he's the programming side. And I was already working on it, and I was like the business and content and creative lead. And between the two of us, we make an extremely good team because I think we both look at one another and say, I can't do it, he does, and I'm glad he's doing it.
Good teams are great, huh, Corescape?
Yeah, that's why we're doing this show together. We make a great team, little scribe.
We certainly do, and we can appreciate, although I don't think I could code anything per se, but that's really cool. So you guys already had a working relationship. You already kind of had the game thing going, and you're like, okay, let's just put this on the blockchain.
And from that, when we had that discussion to, hey, here's our alpha release, it was like 2 months. So literally all this stuff came together extremely quickly.
That's unbelievable. I kind of almost don't even believe it. 2 months? Are you serious?
Well, the amazing thing about Steam that people don't really understand is that Steam is built like a database. And unlike Ethereum and other places where you have to learn how to code like smart contracts and you have to know frameworks and all this other stuff to like even be able to code there, the geniuses behind Steam made it so that you can use standard web development skills that anybody that's in that business has been using for 20 years. And instead of like what a lot of programming is that you just ask this big database, what's the answer to this? And the way you do that is you do an API call. But a blockchain is really nothing more than sort of a more advanced version of a database. So in the blockchain, you can just run your normal web development the way that you've always done web development. And then when it's time to ask a database a question, you just ask the blockchain. And
so I guess you kind of had that advantage where the database was already built. You just kind of put a different added feature to it, like a smart media token, and you put pictures to it.
And on top of that, we had like 60,000 active users here already. So like we didn't have to go launch our own chain. We didn't have to develop our own chain. We didn't have to attract all these users. We just showed up, slapped some code together, put some pictures that were like in an image file so that when somebody said, what does that card look like? It would go pull up that image and put this thing together. And it literally took Yaba on the coding end less than 2 months to do. And it took me, like, I'd been working on some of these cards since 2014 and parts of the game, but like, you know, it really took shape when he and I were working together. And so we got the alpha launched in 2 months and had this outrageous success. And a lot of it had to do with how smartly engineered the Steam blockchain is and how there's already a pre-existing community, which I'm pretty largely tapped into.
That's a huge part as well, because if you had made the game as a newbie or as a minnow, it would not have taken off as well. But as someone who's put a lot of work into where you are and who's well connected and who has some value in the investment, then you were able to do a lot more work for it. And I think
this, right? Like, we're going to be here. Like, we're not going anywhere. We're like, I'm a witness here. Like, one of the questions I get asked is, are you going to move Steam Monsters to a different chain? And I'm like, I named it Steam Monsters. What more do you want?
That was another one for me. I'm like, well, what would he do? Like, where's he going to go?
You're locked in.
So, I don't know. We just, the blockchain ends up, this blockchain in particular, can do all the things that we need, and it had a pre-existing community, and we're already built into it, and already had trust, and there's just something. Yana likes to talk about how, like, you know, the phrase I use is we all go to the same mood. And it's true with all the cryptos, but it seems to be more true of the Steam community than anywhere else. This is a group of people that, you know, are sort of united and that we really want this thing to take off. And so people work together. And, you know, he keeps saying, like, if we had done this on Ethereum, people might have cared, but they wouldn't be, like, rooting for us the same way that this community really seems to be.
Yeah, and I think that's because mostly, or at least in part, due to the use case of the blogging, because you have so many different use cases out there for cryptocurrency, but this one particular is just mainly the blogging, less the exchange. And so we have this sort of social aspect, tight-knit community that you're not going to get anywhere else. I think it was a really smart move. We're just super happy that we got lucky enough to be part of it. You've stolen our hearts, Aggro. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for coming on the show. I think we're going to have to wrap up because Coraskate's got an appointment, and I've got kids howling in the background. But we had so much fun. We're going to do this again and again, and we might just have to have you on again as well.
Well, whatever you need, let me know.
Well, we appreciate that. I know how busy you are. I mean, it's not like you're doing anything else on the Steam blockchain, Mr. Top Witness, MSP founder, and everything.
I know. How many hours of sleep do you get a night? Like 2?
I don't know. Sometimes 6. But,
if you're lucky.
But I like this. You know, this is my home. This is, like, I want our world to have nice things. I want my kids to have nice things. And the best thing I can think to do with my time is spread peace, abundance, and liberty. And I actually feel like Steam is the best tool in the world to do that right now.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks, Aggro. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. We love you all. Join us next week, and or the week after, depending. But stay tuned. Follow me and Coraskate. We both make announcements. Follow our DLive channels, because if you do, you'll get a little heads up to the fact that we're going live. And anyway, so the Discord channel's open for anybody right now, so make sure you keep that in your box. And thanks again for coming, and then we'll issue out the packs to those of you who we chose as winners today. And I think we're gonna call it a show. That's a wrap.
Rock on. Good night.
Awesome. Thanks again, Agrod, and congrats to everyone who won booster packs, and we'll see you guys again soon.